Just a few hours before the dawn of April 18, 1906, San Francisco slept peacefully. The streetcars were stopped. The piers remained silent. The gas lights still illuminated the avenues. Nothing in the city suggested that one of the greatest urban disasters in modern history was about to occur. But beneath the streets, miles deep, the earth was already moving. In less than a minute, one of the richest and most modern cities in the world would be shattered. This is not the moment of the earthquake. This is San Francisco in its last intact hours. At the beginning of the 20th century, San Francisco was the most important city in the western United States. Ships constantly arrived at the port, bringing goods from Asia, Latin America, and Europe. The streets were full of banks, luxury hotels, and illuminated theaters. The financial district was growing rapidly, and new steel constructions were beginning to redefine the urban skyline. On Nob Hill, the mansions of the railroad magnates dominated the city. From above, San Francisco seemed like a safe and prosperous metropolis. But that prosperity hid a geological reality that few understood. The city was built right next to one of the most dangerous tectonic faults on the planet, the San Andreas Fault. During the night of April 17, 1906, life continued its normal rhythm. In the harbor bars, sailors finished their last drinks. In Chinatown, the night markets were still open. The electric trams ran along the steep avenues, carrying the last passengers of the night. The newspapers printed the news for the next day. The hotels were full of travelers who had arrived for business or trade. Thousands of people slept without imagining that, while they rested, the energy accumulated beneath the Earth's crust had been waiting for decades to be released. The city seemed invulnerable, but nature was preparing something completely different. More than 10 kilometers beneath the city, two enormous tectonic plates were locked against each other. For years, the pressure had slowly built up along the San Andreas Fault. Every year, the plates tried to move a few centimeters, but the friction kept them trapped until the pressure exceeded the limit. At some point north of San Francisco, the rock finally gave way. The released energy would travel along hundreds of kilometers, and the epicenter of the destruction would be right beneath a city that was still asleep. The hours before dawn are usually the quietest in any city. In San Francisco, that calm was absolute. The trams were stopped at their stations. The piers remained dark. The hotels were silent. Only a few night workers walked through the empty streets. Bakers were lighting ovens. Guards were watching banks. And some fishermen were getting ready to go out to sea before the sun rose. It was a completely normal scene, a prosperous city, frozen in its last moment of tranquility. At 5:12 in the morning, everything changed. First, there was a slight tremor. Some people woke up. The lamps began to sway. But seconds later, the ground began to move violently. Entire buildings started shaking. The streets rippled as if they were water. The tram lines bent. In a matter of seconds, the most modern city in the American West turned into a field of destruction. But the earthquake would not be the only problem. The worst was yet to come. When the earthquake ended, a large part of San Francisco was still standing, but the gas pipes had broken, the water lines too, and in multiple parts of the city, fires began. Small flames that quickly became gigantic fires. Without water to fight them, the fires spread uncontrollably. For 3 days, the flames would devour entire neighborhoods. The earthquake had destroyed the city, but the fire would finish erasing it. When the disaster ended, more than 80% of San Francisco had disappeared. Thousands of buildings were reduced to ashes. Hundreds of thousands of people were left homeless, and the city that had been the pride of the American Pacific was transformed into ruins. But something unexpected happened. San Francisco did not disappear. It was rebuilt, bigger, stronger, and more modern than before. The city we just walked through no longer exists. The streets, the buildings, and the mansions we saw belong to a version of San Francisco that disappeared in minutes. The 1906 earthquake not only destroyed buildings, it changed the urban history of the entire West Coast. But thanks to history and digital reconstruction, we can still observe the city as it was, right before everything changed. If there is another city you would like to see rebuilt in its last moment before changing forever, write it in the comments. Because many of the most important cities in history disappeared in a matter of hours, and we can still return to them, even if only for a moment.